Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Kim, Bluebird Legacy. Hey, I've got an idea today and I'm so glad you clicked on to see this video. I thought what we could do is I keep these, I like to recycle them. Flyers that come in the mail, or a lot of times they're just stuck in your door. Maybe you pick them up. This is one for the library. It's heavy paper, and excuse me. And then like this one is it's like cardboard almost. So what I thought, I really like this one. This one is a total. There's a little bit of glue on there. I'd already started gluing something, but this one folds out. It's a fold out, and it can go in your journal. It can go anywhere you want it to go, really. But you can just paint on it and collage on it. So that's what I thought we'd do. This is a coupon, and that I don't use. I don't use dryer sheets, and so it opens up. You can make tags out of these. And I'm going to show you today how you can take these and turn them into something that's usable in your artwork. So the first thing I think we're going to do is put some gesso, because these have like a real shiny exterior. They're coated. So you can do a couple of different things. You can kind of sand it off if you choose to. I don't choose to do that. I choose to go the real easy route. And what I will do is, I don't know, let's take this postcard here. We can turn this into a tag. And we can take gesso. This is just a real cheap Hobby Lobby Master's Touch acrylic gesso. Or you could use clear if it was something that you wanted to see the lettering behind, or see some of your artwork even behind. You wanted to gesso over it and then paint something, or do another technique over it. You could use the clear. But I think today I'm gonna just use some white and get it down so it will be drying while we work on something else. I like to wet my paintbrush in, just get it wet, slightly wet, and then wipe the gesso, because that way it doesn't stick in your brush as bad. Otherwise, if it's thick gesso, it'll really gunk up your brush and make it really hard to get out. So we'll cover that, and then just lay it aside so that can dry. We'll come back to that. I think since I have so much gesso and the brush is so wet, I'll just go ahead and put some on this. And then I put my brush right back in the water, because otherwise it'll stick and ruin your brush. Okay, I've got a place for those two. Sit and dry. Now, what I'll do is just kind of, this one had a fold and it was kind of a tri-fold. What I thought I would do is, we can do a bit of collage on this. It folds like this. So I thought what we could do is collage it and then use it like that. Put it as an insert that folds out in a journal, or maybe you like the collage and you want to put it into your artwork. So it's up to you what you do with that. So I have some papers here. And the thing with collage that I find is I don't like to collage with thick papers. It just makes it hard for them to stick down. And so I tried to get some of my thinner papers, and I had some of this tissue paper, a roll of tissue paper by Tim Holtz. I have that in bits, and then I tore up, and then this was a bag, and so I'll take pieces of this bag off for a lot of text. That makes for an interesting collage. Some more book pages. This was a tea bag that I stamped on, and I was going to put that in there. Another random tea bag. And then some more of that tissue paper, different. And then just bits, you know. I have just bits that were thin, and I picked out of my. I have a collage area that I keep all my papers in. This is actually like baking paper, I think. So I think I'll use some of that. Some more like scrapbook paper. Oh, I have so much scrapbook paper. I have 4 children, and I made books for all of them from, well, for a couple of them for graduating through kindergarten to graduation, but then now I have grandchildren, and I'm making for them books for them. I'm making their books a little different though. This is a coffee filter that I coffee dyed, so we'll use that, and some other book paper that I like this little dots that it put on this. This was a devotional that I used, and then months later that I coffee stained it, and the sheet, the cookie sheet, makes those dots on it. I really like those dots. This is book page. Of course, more book page. Some, and then some, you don't leave out the ones that you've made some art on. Like this was, I think this was like stencil. Well, I'm sure it was a stencil. This is a Tracy Batista stencil, but what I used was it looks like a spray or my brush for stenciling, real lightly. Texture is hard as far as tactile to put on your collage, because it won't lay flat. You want it to lay flat initially, and then you can put texture on it after you get all your papers down. That's what I find. And then, you know, I grabbed these at the last minute because I thought, well, Christmas is coming up and it's getting to be that time of year, and so these might be, I might put some red in there. So I don't typically use a lot of reds and oranges, but I may do that today. And then this is, I hope this is showing up, but I love this tissue paper. It's sparkly, like the universe. See, it's pretty. And we'll put that. This is paper towels that I had used, wiping off my hands. It looked like this, and I let it dry when I was painting one day. So then I took one of my stamps, and I used a multicolored, I had some stamps out because I think we'll stamp over the collage also. This stamp, I really like it. It's Hero Arts, and it's ombre. So it gives 3 different colors. That teal, and then a light blue, and then the navy blue. So that's fun. And I stamped it on there, and I thought that would be cool to use in the collage. So, you know, nothing is off limits. It's what you want to use in your area, or whatever you want to use. This is just a paper towel that I wiped my hands on and my brush on. Then I just laid it out so it would be flat. It dried, and I'm going to use parts of it. And here's a piece of a dictionary that I saved because it got burnt. I did eco printing on this. I showed one in one of my videos. This was one of my first eco prints, and I wanted to save it. I kind of like that. There was a Amy, I can't say her last name, but she's on Instagram and on YouTube, and I really enjoy her art. I bought one of her journals that she made, but she burned part of her pieces in this course, and I thought, oh, that is so cool. She used a little candle. I never thought of that, but this was accidental. This was in the bottom of the pot when I eco-dyed, and it got burnt because the bottom of the aluminum cheap turkey pan didn't hold up for the hour. So I learned from that. And then I've got this other piece that I had in that same eco dyeing. This, I'm going to use some of this music print because I really like my music sheets. And because this one didn't eco print nicely, I'll use it in the collage and tear it up. So there we go. We are ready, and I just want to go over those sheets with you because sometimes you're not sure exactly, well, can I use this? Is this something that I can put down on this? Really, it's whatever you want to use. Like I have everything from paper towels to tea bags. And so I was real purposeful about saving these. At one time in the summer when I was making a lot of sweet tea, I thought, well, those can go to good use. So hey, let's just get cracking and put some paper down on the page. I think what's going to happen though is I'm going to use I am going to reach way down at the end of my table and get my matte medium, because I like to use a brush. And you can do it any way that you like. Let's just start with this one. I don't mind the lighter being in there. I just really like the black and white of the graphic of this. So, and then with this, I don't want my brush to be so wet. I really don't want my brush to be so wet. So, where's my paper towel? There we go. What I'll do is dry it on a paper towel, get going, and then spread it. But I've used glue too. I started using tacky glue. It's very thick. It's not as wet. And it seems to work well. I like to go over the edge a little bit, just to be sure that it stays sealed down. And then I also will use some sort of a scraper or card. And that really gives you a nice flat. If you choose to, you can take your brayer, get a couple pieces down, and just brayer over that, making it really flat. I'm really one of those, I like to go graphic, black and white, and a lot of these papers with text on them. I think I'm gonna put that over that. Takes you right back to first grade, kindergarten. You don't have to listen to anybody. You don't have to do anything anybody tells you. You just take the glue, tear the paper, and put it down anywhere you want, what looks good to you. It's the beauty of making art. It's the relaxation of making art. I've never really used a piece like this, so let's go for it. I'll always go over the top, depends on what I'm using it for. Some more of that down. Okay. And sometimes you can challenge yourself and just put the next thing, just put whatever you see is there. Now there'd be some people that would say, oh, but that doesn't match, or this, you know, it's a mixed up collage. You can do whatever you want. I had some more with color, just not the Christmas paper. So we'll go back and look at that. Now, the one thing I like to remember is that this has folds in it. So if I want to keep those folds and I really want to use this as a folded piece, of course we can always go back and score it, but I try to kind of work around that fold and make sure the paper will still fold. And one of the main things I would say is overlap your pieces. When you're starting out, take the first piece I put down, I overlap that. You end up not having as many bad corners or things sticking up when you're finished. Okay. This one's hard enough. Okay, let's see, there it is. Make sure you have plenty of your glue, whatever source you're using, before you lay your piece down. And you'll have, it'll be a lot easier for you to, you know, keep it there. See, and that's kind of coming up there where it was burnt. So I don't fight it to stay down. I just pull it up. Stick it over here. Yeah. I like the lines going through too. Some of my finger. Okay. So what I thought I would use this for is to go in the journal. I don't know if you saw my last believe it's my last video. So my last video, I was sewing and sewing some fabric together, and I was going to put this in that journal when I put that journal together. So this will be some of the, not really a page, but a piece that will come out of the journal and fold out. I don't want that there. Okay. Paper towel rips nicely. Have you guys ever made stamps before? This is the stamp that I stamped on this, and it's just, it's foam that you get at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, wherever. It's craft foam for kids or adults, or, I mean, whoever. It's probably in the toy section, though, is where I got it. And then this is foam also, but this was sticky back foam. So then you cut out the sticky back foam in the shapes you want, and then you just merely stick it on there. And I made this a long time ago, and then I just put them up. Sometimes I use them. It's good when you want original art and you don't want really to, you know, stamp anybody else's stuff on your paper, and it's really fun to make. 4- and 5-year-olds like it too. I haven't done it with my granddaughters yet, but I'm being reminded as I speak that I need to do that. This one was lighter. I want a darker one on there. Actually, I could pull, if you take your time, you can pull a tissue or a napkin apart and make it super thin. So that's what I should be doing. Okay. I think what I want to do is cut this one. Let's get that down like that. Very gingerly, you want to try and put this down with the card to flatten it, but your brayer will, I think, do a better job. And with this, if it sticks up or is uneven, it's not a bad thing, because it's so thin it won't bother. It won't make a bother. And then sometimes it comes off on your brayer. Just like that. So we'll just smooth that down. Okay. And I'll go with some of this over here. Okay, so in just a few minutes, we are more than halfway through with, like, I'd say this is about an 8.5 by 11. That's just a piece of paper I have under there. So I like the dots. I have done this with Mod Podge, the product called Mod Podge, and I made several books as gifts, and the books, and I had photos in them and different things, and I collaged and painted and mixed media. And what happened was the books stick together. I don't know, there's something about that product that even, it just sticks together. So that's why I don't use it. And something that I might give as a gift or sell, or, but I think it's fine just for things around your house or gluing. I mean, it could still be used. It's just that it does make the paper stick together, the pages stick together. It did on my projects. Because this has a shiny background, I'm kind of using a little more than I normally would if just a piece of paper, because this doesn't soak it up, it just sits there. And I want to be sure that was a bag. I want to be sure that it stays once I put it down. But if it pops up on you, if you make something and then it pops up, you can always take the glue and push it back down the next day once it's dried. Use a little more glue. I like to put my text in different directions. That makes it more interesting too. Putting the text in just all different, turning it different ways. Let's see, now this has some. We haven't used our tea bag. We might put that over the text. That's always interesting. I'll cut some of this out. Just cut it in a circle. Or close to a circle. That's what I like about the tea bags, is they allow you to see stuff underneath it. Okay. Ooh, we can put this over something too. Another piece of this. It's stuck. Let's go with this side. gesso on it. That's okay. We might, sometimes on a collage, what I'll do is when I'm all finished to kind of make it cohesive, I'll put the, just rub with a dry brush some gesso over it. It kind of brings it all together. Let's get this. Okay. Wait, I forgot to take it apart. This is now we get the sparkles. A wider brush would be a lot better. We've got just this section right here to fill in. Okay, I can do some more of this. Well, if you've made it this far into my video, I just want to tell you I really appreciate you staying and watching. I hope you will click the like button and subscribe. I'm going to get better at this. I'm just not used to making art in front of people. I come into my room and it's like my sanctuary. But I wanted to challenge myself and share the little bit that I know. I learned so much from other artists, and I wanted to be able to share it with other people because there's such a need for mental health awareness and for people to take care of their mental health. You know, there's just so many things going on in the world that stress people out, and I find that art, for me, I don't even worry about that stuff. I don't have, you know, it's, here I am just pushing my paintbrush around and enjoying the day. And you can find that too. It's not about skill or necessarily, it's about practice and doing stuff in repetition. It's a learned something that you learn, and I mean, I'm still learning and growing and hoping to, you know, just every every time I come in here hoping to make better art, or just at least find a sense of calm and a sense of peace, which we all know you have to look for it in the world which we live. You have to look for your peace. I like that sonata part on there, but I guess I had to take it off. Maybe we'll use it. You know, whether it's playing music or making art or working in theater. I mean, writing poems and things like that. I mean, a person has to find something to do with their time other than be on, you know, digital electronics, and as you watch this video on electronics, you know, there's just more to life, you know, it's just how I see it. So, yeah, you can't live with it, you can't live without it. I guess it's all things in moderation. That's what my kids know that I always say. All things in moderation. Okay. This brush kind of pushes it down and then spreads the glue or the, you know, matte medium all over. We just have that one area right there. And I am going to hit it with, there's a picture of parallel bars, the dictionary parallel bars. And a parallelogram. If you touch it when it's wet, it'll just pull that paper apart. That paper is super old. The music paper is really old. Okay, so that's finished. And I mean, at least that side is. So there you have that side. And we'll do some, I don't know if it'll be dry in this video or what. When it loosens like that, I just kind of tear it off most of the time, because I have another piece underneath there. Hopefully it'll stay. The glue goes through the tissue paper. Okay, away with this one. It will dry a little bit and we will carry on. I got some paint out and we gessoed this right here. We'll lay it on this. You set that aside, and the dictionary paper. So this would be the paint, the piece we're gonna paint. And what I have is I have a couple of stamps. I have some paint that I put some, if you want your paint to go a little farther and last a little longer without being drying out, it's an additive. This is called a retarder. It's an additive for slowing the drying time of acrylic paints and mediums. So it'll last a long time. You just use a tiny bit in the paint. I mean, all of Golden's items are expensive in my opinion, but when they last a long time, it doesn't seem like they're as expensive, if you know what I'm saying. So I just mix that in with my brush, or you can mix it in with a palette knife. So let's start out with the stamp. So how I use these stamps is, and remember, if you haven't watched the whole video and you just check in, what we did is these are just pieces, flyer pieces. They're not mail, but they're like, this is a coupon that came when I bought some stuff, and it's a coupon. I don't use these dryer sheets, so I thought, well, it's hard. And then the other pieces were flyers that came about insurance and this and that, different things. So you can turn them into really nice pieces for your art journal or your art. I mean, whatever it is that you're working with. With a little gesso and a little paint. Maybe what I just did on that one was the collage. So let's use a little of this. And what I do is I just kind of paint the shapes. Whatever color. That I decide. Let's see. That's soap to wash your brushes. You ever seen that? Just fell off from there. It's by Paint Pixie, and it's charcoal soap to wash your brushes. If you need some or you're interested in it, just send me a message. I wasn't planning on saying that, but it fell over, and okay. So here I'm going to stir up this other blue just to put another color in. And that's the paint retarder that I'm stirring up. So we have another one up here. And I'm going to put some of this color in here. What I like when the color mixes, makes for a different look. You could even do dots on there and it's going to show up like that. So let's see. This is wide, so we can really press it down. Make sure it gets contact on all. This will do that with your brayer. That should be good enough. Voila. So it just puts it down in a different shape, you know, and if you're making a big piece and then when you want to stamp the ghost, you know, the second stamp is the ghost stamp. You can stamp on that. We could do that on here. Because this was an atlas that I took out some pages. I was testing my stamp pad. So that had a lot of paint up there. Okay. That one. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a train going by. And while it's not outside my window, it may sound like it. When I first moved here to the mountains, I thought, oh wow, I can't get used to that. That train is really freaking me out. like I would hear it. And no matter where you're at, you'll hear it. I mean, it goes all through the town and even other towns in this area. But then I'm just like, I don't even hear it, you know? It's like that sound, you know? It's going off, but you don't even notice that it's there. Some of you ICU nurses know what I'm talking about. The monitor goes off, and it's been going off for 2 hours. You need to go check it. No, we don't want to do that. Okay, so we're putting kind of mixed colors in here. Makes a pretty color. I'll make the whole shape the same color. Okay, it's not a real big piece, but we'll just stamp right over it. I've seen an eye on that before. I don't know if it's turned upside down. Sorry, I bumped it. Sorry. So sorry. It looks like an eye at times to me. I did not do that on purpose. I was just making a circle. I like circles. I'm more into rounded, circle-y shapes than square or other types of shapes. So, fun facts. Okay, that's cool. So see, you can make your own stamps. You can. I mean, you can carve your own stamps too. That's a whole nother world. I mean, not world, but you can, I have the stuff to carve stamps too. If anybody wants to learn that, or you want to do that, and you want me to make a video on it, just give me a comment down there if you want to carve stamps. My kids, about 7 years ago, 10 years ago, for Christmas, they got me several stamp carving, the tools and things. I didn't bring them over. I'd show you the stamps that we've carved. Okay, so there's a couple of those stamps, and then I've got another one, but I showed you that one. And then, you know, you can just paint whatever you want on your cardboard. And because I like mixed media and things to be abstract, you know, just putting the color wherever is what I like to do. So then you can turn them into really nice, you could put you could take a tissue and collage a tissue on it, make really nice tags. You could even make Christmas tags with it. You know, if you took this and put, you know, maybe some different colors, or even this color for snow, you know, blue, white Christmas. So, or, you know, Hanukkah is a lot of blues in Hanukkah. So, I mean, it's just whatever you want to do with it, just so you do it. No, it's really enjoyable, especially if you are sick, or you have chronic pain or anything like that. It's amazing, you know, how it helps. And I would say to you that, you know, I like to think of things scientifically, truly scientifically, on as far as your health. And I would say there is scientific evidence that art making, whether it be music or theater or you know, painting, collage, it's using your hands. When your hands are doing something, when you're writing, you know, the woman that wrote the book on creativity, she actually has more than three. Her name is escaping me. I have the book and I've read through on writing, but she talks about your morning pages, and some of you may know what I'm talking about. Where you get up and you just write. You just write, because when you put your hand, when you are using your hand, your brain is engaged in that, and you're not engaged in other things. So there's growth happening. I like how that blue mixes with that color. Didn't mean for this to be so in the middle, but of course these will be cut in half, and maybe even, might even turn it this way. So I really appreciate y'all staying and watching, and I would really appreciate a thumbs up I would love to see y'all subscribe and send your friends the video, or tell them about Bluebird Legacy, about Kim, and how art can make a difference in their life, how making art can make a difference. Even sometimes it's just looking at it. You ever think about that? Like, if you look at something that's beautiful, or you look at something that has the colors that you like, it makes you, it's chemical changes in your brain take place, and you don't feel as bad as you did maybe when you walked into the room, or you went to the museum, or whatever it was that you were doing. And it's kind of the same way with going outside. That's why I put a lot of videos. I put 2 or 3 videos, I don't know how many, but videos of outside, and taking walks and going to the woods and seeing nature. We were meant to see nature and enjoy it, is my opinion. I don't know, I'm just feeling a little painterly here. I want to get some of these colors in here, but I don't want them to mix. So anyways, I appreciate you watching the video, and until next time, I hope y'all have a fantastic day, and I hope you go create some art. Bye for now.